It feels like it's been a long time since we last saw a romance movie, and on August 6th, the UK is getting the last letter from your lover. How is this going to stand up? Let's find out. Directed by Augustine Frizzle, The Last Letter from Your Lover follows Felicity Jones's Ellie as she discovers a letter depicting an illicit love affair from the 60s, and it sends her on a mission to both discover more of these letters and also find out what happened to these star-crushed lovers. So I'm not usually one for the romantic kind of movie, but the trailer for this one really did catch my attention. It does a very good job of balancing those old timey romances with the big words and the writing, and also a more modern day relationship with all the awkwardness that comes with making the moves and approaching things. I do think the film did a very good job at balancing it, and it came across as quite a unique way of telling the classic romance story. It's not like any of the more recent romance films where it's usually about some teenage or college couple that's all about drinking and sleeping together. There's more emotion behind this one, and I think it is a breath of fresh air, especially after the recent run of romance films. Like, I don't watch many romance movies, so if I'm forgetting about any other romantic movies, then do let me know. I know Little Woman had some romance elements to it, but there was a lot more in it besides just the romance. Whereas this movie very much focuses on just the romantic elements. There are two love stories that are going off here. We obviously have the illicit love affair from the 60s, but you also have this budding modern day romance between Ellie and Rory. Now, I will say, out of the two couples, I definitely prefer the modern day couple. I don't know, it's just because they're given more time to be fleshed out as characters. My problem with the 60s love affair is that their characters don't really get much time to be characters. It's portrayed mostly through letters, and the whole getting to know each other aspect of things is sort of skipped across through montage and being told to us through these letters, arranging their different plans. I didn't really buy it as much. I didn't mind Mr. O'Hare in it because he does seem to show some restraint in the early sections of it, but it did feel quite convenient. The Mrs. Starling character, she is already married in this scenario, so she's the adulterer in the scenario. Though the husband that she cheats on, you don't blame her for straying away because this guy is the classic 60s husband that speaks for her and is all about work. How I really question in the modern day if you're a bloke and you're not really paying much attention to your missus and talking over a lot, and this handsome guy comes at dinner and you establish that he is no longer married and he is available, you wouldn't just leave your missus with this handsome guy and go off and do work and then leave town for a month, giving them all the time in the world to spend together. That's sort of how their affair starts out. And Larry, I say, is more of your classic 60s bad husband stereotype. But there is a point in the movie where Larry goes a bit comically bad. Like, we're already on Mrs. Starling's side here, and we do not like Larry at all. But they go above and beyond to make him almost cartoony in his just a-holery, which is one of the big downsides of things for me. The film also does a very good job of cutting between the past and the present. It always makes sure to leave an opportune moment to jump in between these two stories. And while I feel like the past relationship could have got more time to shine, because I know, say for example, Titanic, while their relationship happens very quickly, you do see them go from just Jack trying to show Rose the real world outside of this big, lavish, convenient marriage before they do eventually get together. And this one just sort of skips over all of the getting to know each other elements and jumps straight into the feelings. So it doesn't feel as big when they finally do get together for that first time. Though the modern day aspect of things really does carry the film for me. The awkwardness between Rory and Ellie is great to see. When we first see Ellie, we know all we need to know about a character. She is on this little self destructive, rebounding path where she isn't a selfish person, but she does selfish acts. And I think a lot of us can relate into when she talks about how she feels like she is a crappy person, and if you spend too much time getting to know him, you'll realize they're a crappy person and leave him. I feel that's a very relatable subject. And God bless Rory. If you've seen the trailers a bit where he's all over been saying like, "I don't allow gum in the archive room," and there are a few fun little moments like this of just this awkwardness. And I felt that on a customer service level, telling a customer you can't do something, and they'll just do it defiantly in your face just to get around the rules. It's great to see. My favourite moment involves a breakfast where she can't eat a drink in the archive room and she just eats it in front of him in the most passive aggressive way possible. It is so British. I do love that quirky dynamic between the two. Going back to the past relationship, like it does work when you're seeing the pieces being strung together by both Mrs. Starling and Ellie in the past and present. Why Miss Starling has to piece stuff together, I will not reveal here, but I will say it is a nice little twist and helps a duality of two women trying to discover the truth. I'm just going to say that Mr. O'Hare and Mrs. Starling, I prefer them more in the later half of the movie because they are given more time to shine as actual people rather than this romantic device that we are given. I can sort of see why we don't get much development of them purely because we are learning from the letters. So we're not given much opportunity to see what's happening in between those letters because we're finding out along with Ellie what has happened. So I can forgive the film for that much. But I do feel there is a point where it feels like the past arc should have ended, yet they staple on an extra mini arc that feels like it's there to stretch out the runtime. Now, I've not read the book this is based on, so for all I know, that could be in the book as well. But I feel like that did lessen the eventual impact. There's a point where they could have left that romance and it would have made the payoff at the end a lot better, but they do staple on a little bit extra, and that's around the time Larry does go full comedy in terms of his sinister a-holery. Felicity Jones is great as Ellie. I enjoy the quirkiness, I enjoyed her awkwardness, I enjoyed her stressful panic. I don't know, she just felt very real as a character to me, as did Nahan Rizwan, who plays Rory. He felt very natural and very normal. I just love the chemistry those two had together. Not to take anything from Shailene Woodley or Callum Turner, they do great in their roles as this affair from the 60s, but I just found myself liking the more more. I don't know if that's more due to the writing or more because I am in modern times. I'm not growing up in the 60s where writing letters and these long poetic ways of telling someone you love them was the norm. But yeah, Last Letter from Your Lover had an interesting trailer that drew me in, and I would say it was actually slightly better than I expected. I expected it to be perfectly fine, but I did enjoy certain elements of it that did elevate it for me. Before I get into my grave, do you like what I do on this channel? Consider clicking that like button and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this coming all the time. Coming up on Friday, Suicide Squad. Can't wait to bring you that one. But for now, let's grade The Last Letter from Your Lover. So, The Last Letter from Your Lover tells two love stories, and while it does have some pacing issues and some trouble really making us connect with the past couple, it does a great job with the modern story. And I did love the pacing and how they cut between the past and the present at optimal times. There was one other flaw I would like to point out is there's a character in the past that's built up by name only, and you don't really get to know much about this character at all. So when you find out what happens to them, it's not very impactful. And they're pushed aside for one scene so the focus is primarily on the two couples featured, which is fine. It's a romance movie, but I would have liked to have seen at least a couple more scenes with these side characters. But it is a fine movie. It had some very relatable characters within it, and the payoff at the end was very bittersweet, and I did enjoy where it went. So overall, I'm going to have to say that The Last Letter from Your Lover is a tea that needs more sugar. So The Last Letter from Your Lover, have you seen it? If you haven't, know what you thought down in the comments below. What is your favourite on-screen couple? Do let me know. If you have made it this far, make sure you hit that bell notification and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me a lot. I can't wait to be bringing that Suicide Squad review to you. I'm so hyped. James Gunn, welcome back. But until next time, my name is Josh. I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you in the next video.